Hey, welcome to 209coach.com. I want to show you this video right here on regarding hand path and what elite players do, top level players do to pretty much average players. On the left we have an elite NCAA player. On the right we have a kind of an average swing. What you see, that's very common. And I'm going to show you real quickly the hand path, and then from there I'm going to explain to you what's going on and how to fix it. So in case you're the player on the right where you kind of have this tendency to kind of have a hand path like the one on the right, that you can kind of hopefully learn from this video and how to start fixing the process or start the process of fixing this kind of a swing in order to get your swing like the player on the left to be more elite. So as we get started here, just pay attention to the swings here. You can look at the one on the left first, watch the hand path, notice how it works kind of in an orbit. I pretty much try to follow the knob. You can see here how the lead elbow starts to work up to the height of the mouth and the hand starts to work in a beautiful orbit, allowing her to launch the ball. Okay, so again, we'll play it again. You can kind of just look at this and watch what's going on. This right here on the left produces just a beautiful launch angle and allows you to get great extension through the ball. Now, as we look at the player on the right and we look at her hand path, again, this is very common. You can see here as she starts to swing, the hands kind of start dropping, and stay down, down, and basically what I call this is like a seatbelt swing where your hands kind of wrap around your waist almost like you're putting on a seatbelt. This is very common, and as you can see here, it produces a very flat bat, which is very common. You pretty much are slapping at it. In other words, you can see the difference on the bat on both of them right here at this stage of the swing right here. And I'll just go ahead and put some lines here for you so you can kind of see the difference. This right here produces more of an angle like this where you're literally launching the ball. And this one right here, again, produces more of this angle like that, okay? This is really important to understand because like I just mentioned, what you see on the right is very, very common, okay? So as we go back and we kind of start to break down what's going on here, we're to look over here at the player on the left and we're going to just kind of go over what's going on, all right? So you can see here on the left what the player does as she starts her forward move. Notice her hips. Notice how she's getting great hip coil. She's maintaining it well into the swing as she's applying the pullback, okay? You can see here as she gets into her toe touch right here, she's in a beautiful launch position right here. You can see here it's very obvious at this stage of the swing. Her belt buckle is pointing in this manner, and you can see here that her back elbow is up. She has just a beautiful angles right here. If you can see here, with her shoulder to elbow, everything is pointing pretty much in the direction of the second baseman. Now, if we just go back up here, just so you can kind of see what the player on the right was doing, again, this is very common. You can see here, it's very obvious with her that as she starts her swing, she kind of pushes her hands back, okay? She's just like pretty much just pushing her hands back. And when you do this, what happens is your hands tend to get way over your back foot, okay? In other words, adding extra frames to your swing, and you're basically not letting the top hand pull back and behind you, therefore depriving you of power. Okay, that's what usually happens when you do that. So if we go further with the player on the right, as she starts to get into her forward move, instead of the back elbow working up, back, and behind her, you can see that her back elbow is just dropping. Okay, it's dropping right here as she gets into her toe touch. Okay, so you can see with her that her shoulders are pretty much pointing more in this way. Okay, therefore, there's no separation between the lower and upper body. Her hips and her shoulders are pretty much at this stage of the swing at a very kind of the same angles. Okay, this really does not produce any torque. It does not produce any stretch, therefore depriving yourself of power. Can you get away with this? Yes, you can. But what I'm saying is the reason like the player on the left is where she is because she produces these kind of MLB elite angles. Okay, this is real important to understand if you're trying to work on your swing. Now also too, you can notice here with the player on the left, you can see how much higher the bat is above her head because she's producing the angles that you want in order to produce a very elite swing. The player here, her bat head's already starting to drop. In other words, her wrists are becoming more horizontal, where the player on the left, her wrists remain more vertical, okay? When you do that, pay attention to the player on the right. You can see here how her bat continues to drop. Now notice the difference between both players on the left and right as far as where the bat is. At this stage of the swing, this is what you see with elite players. She's already gotten past her hip rotation, and her bat is still pointing somewhat in this direction right here, okay? This is very elite. What you see with the player on the right, you can see here that her bat is really flat and it's pointing more in this direction right here, okay? This produces a lot of slap shots, produces a lot of weak shots, okay? Again, this is very, very common, and you can also see it's very obvious at this stage of the swing. She has a lot of back drag, where the player on the left, her back elbow stays back and behind her because of the pullback, okay? So as we go further here, you can see here, we go another frame, you can see where the bat is above the player's head is starting to loop behind her, where the one on the right, just like I said at the beginning of the video, is kind of cutting across her body. Therefore, what happens is you see that the bat is kind of producing more of a, what I call like a little slap shot, where she's kind of slapping at it, okay? Where the player on the left, the elite player, you can see it's very obvious that because of everything she produced with the pullback and everything that was going on, she's producing this bat speed that's coming in at an angle that is very conducive to doubles, triples, and home runs, okay, because of the launch angle. So again, if we watch this video right here, watch what's going on here as we go further here. You can see here the bat angle right here on the left compared to the right as far as what you want. If you're a player and you follow baseball, you follow softball, you would definitely want to have a swing like the player on the left, okay? Now, again, this is very common. It's not to put the player down on the right. Again, this is much more common than people realize. When I'm working with students in person, I see, or I'm doing online video analysis, what I see on the right is very, very common, okay? So what I would recommend for you to do, if you're doing what the player on the right is start applying what the player on the left is doing. Okay, what you want to do as soon as you lift your front foot, you really want to coil the back hip and the back leg. Okay, this produces great torque, great power in the lower body. At the same time, you want to start applying pullback with the top hand. If you want more information on this, I have a lot of videos on what I'm explaining here, but this is just to kind of give you a short analysis of what one player does compared to another. And as you get into your toe touch, you want to maintain the pullback and you want to maintain the hip coil, okay? This is really important. Now you can see here that this angle right here on the left is beautiful, and the one on the right there is what you see. Like I said, it's very common, and it's something that does not produce as much power as the player on the left. Now as we go further here, watch what's going on here. Again, this is real important as well. Notice the angle on the torso, okay? I talk about this in my videos all the time. When you're hitting, you want to do that hip thrust, okay? And that's kind of a cause and effect. Your hips will naturally start to unwind. You want to hit off your back hip, you want to hit off your back leg, and then you want to tilt your torso back. Now notice a tilt on her torso, okay? Look at the tilt. Now compare that to what's going on right here with this player. She's almost vertical as she's hitting. There's no tilt. Therefore, she's going to produce less of a launch angle. Therefore, less doubles, less triples, and less home runs. Okay, again, this is really important. This is why I talk about having a torso tilt. A torso tilt is crucial. You want to hit off your back leg, your back hip. The player on the right is hitting more off her front foot, Therefore, she's kind of just doing more of a horizontal swing, or what I call a merry-go-round swing, where the player on the left is producing more of a roller coaster swing, okay? Now watch how the lead elbow works up to the height of the mouth with the player on the left, okay? Then it stays up and goes above the mouth, and she hits it and just launches this ball. That was a home run. She tatered that ball, okay? And I'm just sharing this with you because what players usually do on the right is very common. And if you want to learn more about this particular swing on the left, just follow my channel. I get into great detail on how to fix this. Also, too, I do online video analysis, and it would basically look something like this. If your daughter or whoever it is on the right would be next to an elite player, and what I would do, give you specific drills so that you can work on your swing. And I would also do a personal video for you explaining to you in detail how you can start developing your swing or start the process of you becoming more of an elite player like the player on the left. I appreciate you watching my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like. Subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of videos out on my channel to help you to develop into a very elite player. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.